What's up, guys, and welcome back to On the Brick, where today we're going to be talking about, yeah, you see that right, Republic Bricks and his mystery boxes. I know. So let me explain. For about the last 3 years or so, I made it pretty clear that I would not be looking at RB. And there is one reason for this. The few interactions I had with him back in 2020 were just horrendous. Like, absolutely just a terrible person. Horrendous. He openly scammed me on 2 separate occasions and just left such a horrible taste in my mouth that I had no desire to ever tell anyone about him. So I didn't. This was my channel and I was under no obligation to do so. But over the last few years, I've had several different people, over several different times, reach out to me and tell me that I really should look into it again. I ignored every single one of those messages. And in all honesty, I would have continued ignoring every single one of those messages if it weren't for a different video of mine. For those of you who have been around for just a little while, you might remember my look at TH or Tony Hardy. A video which you can check out after this one, but the only thing of relevance here is that he worked with RB. And so that meant that I went to RB's website to look for this guy's design, which is no longer available, and in doing that, started realizing just how different this really was. This website is completely different than the one I first bought from back in 2020. I noticed that the prices were somewhat reasonable, and the collection of items seemed to actually be really good. But I was still a little hesitant. However, I fully believe people deserve second chances. What most people tend to forget is that Timmy is still rather young, especially 3 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, I'm almost a full decade older than him, meaning he's somewhere in his early 20s, which when I was in my early 20s, yeah, I was a bit of a handful. I'm 29 for anyone wondering. So my interest was already piqued, but on top of this, one of you guys offered to sell me some of the RB sets for an extremely cheap price. I actually said no at first, and then they came back and lowered the price, and it was so good that I really couldn't pass it up. This allowed me to see the quality of the items without having to directly support RB, just in case. From this guy, I received some smaller sets. I got a Shadow A-Wing and an old ETA Starfighter, along with some other things that I'll probably show off at some point. Now, the quality wasn't 100% great, to be honest. That Starfighter was actually pretty bad, but the rest were good enough that when you mix it with seeing the different website and all that, I figured it might be worth giving it a try. So I went and I found the cheapest mystery box that I could, which happened to be a Separatist mystery box. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently building the world's largest Separatist army. So this one here is very similar to the one that I got. This is not the exact one, but it offers a bunch of the same items. And as you can see, there is quite the list to possibly get. And I knew that the chances of getting one of the bigger items was pretty slim. That's how these things work, especially since I was paying less than $10 for it. But I also knew that no matter what I got, I would probably be happy with it, as it would expand my Separatist army. I made the purchase, I waited, and a short time later, I received the box, and I was happy with the result. What I got was a blue Vulture droid. It was a solid build, maybe a little too similar to Brick Vault's, but a solid build all the same. But I have a policy where I will not review a store unless I make at least 2 purchases from them. The reason for this is that 1 is just not a good sample size. If everything goes great, that might not be the norm, and if something goes wrong, that might not be the norm either. Making multiple purchases allows me to see how the store tends to run. So I went and I got a few more mystery boxes containing different items. The video for one of those came out quite recently, as I bought a UCS mystery box, and then just some smaller ones as well. My biggest concern was that everything I was reading about these was people complaining that they had been quote-unquote scammed. But were they? We're gonna get back to that in just 1 second. Because, well, these boxes took a little longer to come in. Some of them were pre-orders, and those pre-orders always have a release date on them, which is how pre-orders should be. But those release dates weren't always met. Some of them went a few days to a few weeks beyond. So I waited for all those dates to come and pass, and then I reached out to RB, and I just asked if they had an update on when these items would be shipped. I didn't complain or anything like that. I made it clear that I wasn't complaining. I was really just curious and excited for the builds. And within the day, I got a response with an exact updated date that was actually met. Sure, that response wasn't as professional as I would like, but it was far from being unprofessional or rude. It just answered the question, and that was that. So finally, the boxes came in, and was I scammed? No, I wasn't. Even though I didn't always get something that I was super excited for or happy with, I was never unhappy with anything or angry. I always got something within the realm of my expectation. When I opened the box for the UCS mystery box, what I got was a Shadow Y-Wing, which is awesome. I wouldn't actually recommend it though, because it's pretty clear that Rogue Mox did not build this in real life, and unfortunately that does lead to some more serious flaws with it. But I still got a UCS set, which is what was offered in that box. In one of the boxes containing 5 different sets, I got 2 brickheads, a droid gunship, a droid tri-fighter, and a Republic 501st V19 Torrent. So no, I would not say at all that I got scammed. The Jedi Interceptor that I got not directly from RB is easily the worst set of all of them that I've gotten, but it's not even available on the website anymore. And my only other complaint is that I've received a decent amount of Shadow sets, which kind of just show that people really aren't interested in them. If there wasn't an excessive amount left over, they wouldn't end up as the most common item in mystery boxes. But out of the boxes which I have purchased, I've never been upset with the result. So why do so many people say that they got scammed? Honestly, it just comes down to expectation. Let's take this Separatist mystery box as an example. It costs only $8. There's no catch there, just $8 plus shipping. In this box, you can get 11 different possibilities plus different variations of those. What I mean is, you can get a Munificent, but there are 4 different versions of the Munificent. Among all these items is technically a $1,000 droid control ship, meaning it is technically possible for me to spend $8 and get a $1,000 item out of it, but it is extremely unlikely because that's how these things work. If you go into these expecting to only get the large items, you are going to be disappointed. If you go into these expecting to not get duplicates, you're probably also going to be disappointed, especially on the listings that do not say no duplicates. And yes, I am aware that he has had issues with this in the past. Items that make it clear you will not receive duplicates, sometimes you still do. And if that happens, you're well within your right to argue that you didn't get the item you paid for. I mean, you would have to prove it, but you could. So yeah, this is not a scam. If I purchase this Republic mystery box with 6 items guaranteed, I know for a fact that I will get 6 Republic items. They might be micro scale, but I will still get 6 items. So while that might not be great, it is not a scam. But with that said, there is still a huge catch to all of this. If you browse through Republic Brick's website, what you'll notice is that a significant number of the items are on sale. They never stop being on sale. These items literally just released, and they are already discounted. That is because the number in red is the actual cost. You just need to know that going in. You cannot look at the crossed out number and go, oh, I'm saving $100, because no, you're not. This never cost $200. But the reason it is written that way is for items like this one, $400 value. Well, that $400 value is taken exclusively from the quote-unquote original price, the crossed out price. So something like this V19 torrent is considered to be $200 towards that value, even when it doesn't actually cost that much. But I think that as long as you know that going in and temper your expectations accordingly, you should be fine. Because honestly, the majority of the complaints that I saw from people saying they were quote-unquote scammed, a lot of it was just them being unhappy with what they actually received. So with that, I will give the same piece of advice as I always will when it comes to mystery boxes. I said the same exact thing about the mystery minifigs that you can buy from CAC. If you want something in particular, just buy that. Because with any mystery box from RB or anyone, you will not get the exact item that you want. That's just not how mystery boxes work. Now, I will make a separate video, or at least I intend to make a separate video covering Republic Brick's website as a whole otherwise, but the mystery boxes deserved an entire video just for themselves if the length of this hasn't already given that away. So if you want to see that video when it comes out in probably a few weeks, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and maybe ring the bell so you can be notified. And also, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and left a comment with your experiences down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.